Mr. Seller 2 years down the road. The AI says your house is worth this. It's not worth $50,000 more like you think it is.
The AI might tell you who's going to sell this year. Welcome to the iBuyer experiment. Today we are going to be looking at a few things. Bing and ChatGPT based integration is basically out, and what that's going to look like and how that's going to disrupt not only the real estate space, but probably almost all of technology. But then also in a super juicy topic, we have Zillow's formally announcing that they are rolling out Open Door making offers in a few key markets. So where do you guys want to start today? There's some pretty big nuggets. Which way you want to start?
No, so okay, Colby is the videographer here at Zoodealio.
Behind the camera. What's up, Colby?
Yeah, he has early access to the Bing and chat integration, and he's been playing around with it. And I gotta be honest, I'm really jealous that I don't have access yet.
Yeah. He said he did it like within the first 10 minutes of it launching, or the list. So he's one of the first.
So I think that this is important for the listeners real quick. Let's highlight real quick, what is the difference between Bing, ChatGPT integration, and actual ChatGPT, the software, right? There's one key thing on that. Care to share?
So the difference is ChatGPT does not have access to the internet. Right. So there's a drop dead date of the data that they have access to. The integration with Bing gives them access to the internet. And so it makes chat so much more powerful, and it makes the AI able to search the internet and come up with...
In real time.
Yeah, up with like responses for you.
In real time. So the other thing too, I think that's important,
there's a lot of fake stuff on the internet though, so...
Of course there is. Of course there is. But it's also going to be able to, I think it's going to come up with some type of like aggregation, fake news flag, right? They're going to come up with some algorithm there to probably fish that out.
The problem with that is whose algorithm?
Fair?
Yeah, and who gets to determine what's fake and not.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there's always
as we all know that there was a whole bunch of fake stuff that was flagged that wasn't fake.
Yeah.
So one kind of, I think, interesting use case for it that Colby shared with me is you can ask it on a product. So let's say you're considering buying something, and there's like 5,000 reviews, and you kind of don't want to sit there and sift through the reviews.
Oh.
You can have it sift through the reviews for you and report to you like what's most important.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
It'll summarize all the 5,000 reviews.
Like what's the commonality on the bad reviews?
Right. Like of all the 1-star reviews, what's the common thing?
Yeah, because I'll go through the 1-star reviews, and if I see a commonality, then I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's probably bad. But if you see just a bunch of other ones, so ChatGPT will do it for you now. That's cool.
Chat and Bing.
Well, the other thing too, I would be remiss if I don't mention this as a father, right? Well, we were just talking about how I know you had shared with your daughter Kayla just a second ago that she basically was asking it to do some homework essentially for her.
So yeah, the other night I showed it to Abby, and my daughter she's almost 14. She's in 8th grade, and the first thing she does is she grabs my laptop and she keys into chat, write me a 5-paragraph argumentative essay. And then like on the subject that she's studying, and it spits out, and she looks at it and she goes, that is awesome.
I know. My 17-year-old son, I've been like fairly nervous to like almost kind of say, hey, have you seen this? Check this out, because next thing you know, it's going to be doing his algebra problems for him. It's going to be writing his papers and all this. And I'm like, dude, you got to learn. I want you to learn this information, not just key in the right questions.
We need to learn? I mean, because sometimes like we used to have to learn calculations in our brain,
Absolutely.
Right? But then a calculator came around, and now we don't have to.
I mean, you need to have basic stuff, and I'm a huge fan of learning, because then it opens up the neural pathogens to be able to expand your mind in different ways. You need to have a basic.
The neural pathways.
Pathways. Did I say pathogens? Pathways. Sorry.
Pathogen is like a germ.
I know. I meant path. To where we have to have the basics so that we can expand our mind, so that we can think of different things. I mean,
where you can just get really good at asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And then
is that your form of learning? Asking good questions? Fair?
So,
I could hear that argument.
Well, Jason is busted.
I haven't tried it, so.
Well, Jason's busted because he posted a little sweet Instagram message to me on Valentine's Day, wishing me a happy Valentine's Day. And I'm reading through what he wrote, and I'm like, I'm like, Jason did not write this.
Wow.
Like, you did not write this. And so I'm like, did you use chat to write this? And he denied it. He denied it for like 3 hours. And then finally.
Well, because you asked me in
Okay.
front of our daughter, so I did it kind of as a joke, but yes, I did use ChatGPT to write your Valentine's post, and you totally busted me, and you got
Genius.
it. So you do read those things.
Genius.
Of course I read them. And I'm like, what? You don't dance. It says something about like when you dance. And I'm like, oh, you asked it to write it in a humorous tone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that my wife even knows about this stuff, so thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
Hey.
was trying to plant seeds for all the parents and whether you know,
Like,
grandparents
hey.
out there like, hey, careful, this stuff could be like be sliding under the way. What's I said, word to the wise. Pay
It
attention.
is. But once you've used it, you kind of know. You know, like you kind of know what it will say. Because I used it to write an
Yeah.
email. Like so the Zoodealio crew was headed to the Tom Ferry Elite Retreat. And I used it to write an email to our member base saying like, hey, we're going to be at Elite Retreat. Stop by and come say hi. And when I used it to write that, I asked it to write it in a humorous tone. And it threw in something about dancing. And then when you posted that Instagram caption, and
You
it
busted it.
Yeah, I'm
Out of
like,
the key.
whoa, well, that sounds familiar.
Damn you, ChatGPT.
I know. It's
You don't know Kayla?
She remembers everything.
It doesn't know our relationship, I guess.
no, yeah. Maybe with
It
enough
said, it
inputs.
said you liked almond butter instead of peanut butter, which you love peanut butter, not almond butter. So
Definitely, that was another like tell.
yeah,
There were hints.
there were some hints, and I didn't even read it, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It just
Even
posted it.
worse, Jay. Oh,
If I would have read it, I probably would have
gosh.
changed it.
Is this not terrible? Like
This 20
Hey, he
20
said he
years
did
of
it as a
marriage come
joke,
together.
okay?
Yeah, I
I
did
was
it.
kidding.
I did it
Oh,
kind of
Keith,
as
Keith's
a
got
joke.
Jay's back here.
Because I wanted to
Uh.
share with her that I did that, and so, but she caught me before it. So.
yeah, you were gonna tell me, Now we're not the type that's like we don't put a lot of importance on like Valentine's Day and stuff. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not.
I
Do
don't
you guys like?
know.
Did
We
you?
barely even just like, oh, let's get a nice dinner. That's as far as the conversation goes.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
got flowers, made dinner.
Oh, you got flowers. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
flowers. That's like
That's
an
a-
extra step.
That's an extra step. Yeah.
I get like 2 bouquets, one for Carly, one for all the rest of the girls.
Dang,
Aw,
man.
that's sweet.
He's up the game.
You went all out.
Oh, that's all out. All right.
Where did you stop at Bash's on the way home?
You didn't
Fries.
put red hearts all over the house.
Have
Have them ordered, delivered to her office.
Well, she did send you a singing chicken for your birthday, so you
Yeah.
gotta
Wow.
keep that up.
Yes, she definitely king of the mountain of that right now. Don't worry, Carly. If you're listening, I'm gonna get you back. It's coming.
So yeah, so like the chat and the Bing, I think it's gonna change a lot. And I can't, because I haven't had my hands on it yet, I can't really say how.
It's going to
Yep.
affect.
Right.
Yeah.
How will we be using it here at Zoodealio? But I know we will.
So
Oh.
Google came out with their Bard, right? BARD,
Oh
Bard.
yeah, that's
And it flopped, right?
Yep. Why did it flop though?
I don't remember. I didn't read the whole thing, but
apparently it screwed up like several times over. So like in a comparison, like verified, errors and whatever else that was showing that it was like massively behind it, right? And so that caused like the stock to drop and everything. It was like
they
a
lost like
massive-
billions in one day.
I know.
Wow.
It was a
Yeah.
massive ripple effect because
saw
of
that.
yeah.
I'm excited to use it, and I don't even really use Chat GPT. Like I think the first time I physically did it myself was right before this podcast. I've seen other people do it, but the other stuff sounds more intriguing to me. Since it's actually going to scrape the internet, I want to test its
yeah.
algorithms. I want to comp a property, locally outside the country, and then say, what is this? What's this property worth? What's the likelihood of
Wow.
this property realistically selling for? Whenever the right question comes out to, and I want to compare it to how we analyze it and see how accurate it is. Could you imagine? You
So
don't have
you
to
could
comp a
ask-
property.
you could ask
really
it if
interesting
it's
thought.
You
Keith.
could
A
ask it,
really
hey,
interesting thought.
using Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, RPR, tell me what this property's worth.
or just that too, right?
Or even just
get
what's this property
specific.
worth,
Yeah.
and see if it comes up with it. Like if it starts being able to value and process data at that level to like,
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
If it's scraping the internet, then it will.
Puts a spin on this estimate.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
my whole point.
so a question like if I were to list, property XYZ address, what would it what's the possibility of it realistically selling at, right? And just seeing what it, scraping the data.
What could this property
Yep.
sell for?
And if
And
it's scraping the data, is that like Zillow won't let us scrape their data?
I don't know. I mean,
I
well,
don't know.
they have
So it'll
they
let
have
ChatGPT
anti-scraping
do it?
software, right? All of the new high traffic sites have anti-scraping software.
So
on
is
them.
it anti-Chat GPT scraping?
I don't know. All I know is if it's connected to the internet, it's bound to find something.
Well, there's
Yeah.
no question they let Google crawl their sites, and I think that Chat it's a crawler, so it's not the same. It's a different technology. So I would see that.
Not a scraper, it's a crawler.
Yeah, we
What's
need
the difference
Noah.
between a scraper and a tile
we need
crawler?
Noah for that.
Yeah, I
you're
think-
getting out of my
Yeah,
tech
we're
expertise.
over our heads
for the
right
real
now.
estate world, I mean, I think that would be cool, and just that could be maybe a game changer for later down the road, right? Just like here, Mr. Seller, 2 years down the road, the AI says your house is worth this. It's not worth $50,000 more like you think it is.
AI might tell you who's going to sell this year.
No, that already
Ooh,
does.
likely sellers. Oh,
That's
love this, dude. There's
Oh, he wants us to try it. You want to try
yeah.
it?
Let's
Yeah,
try
let's try
it.
it.
Let's.
let's get a couple of live ones.
Let's see if we can let's comp a property. Let's see if we can comp a property.
Here, I'll put in my property
see if it
address.
happens.
I got you.
Ask me anything.
Yeah,
Right.
tell him to use Zillow, use Redfin.
Well, here, let's
use
just start
Realtor.com.
general and see if it even has the capability.
Okay, so Keith is king,
If
and
I were to sell my house on, all right, so if I were to sell my house, I put in my property address, what would it likely sell for? Let's just see what it says. All right, it's so right here
Have you
it's
gotten a
saying
copy?
searching for the property address, searching for Chandler and
Oh,
85224.
I mean, shoot.
Hold on. And then it says generating your answers. And it says, well, that depends on many factors, such as the condition of your house, demand and supply, all stuff we know, and timing of your sale. However, based on some web searches, here's a rough estimate. According to this property, the square footage is...
Yeah, it gives us square footage.
Yeah, it gives a square footage, the year it was built, and has an improvement value of $132,300 as of 2014. It was last, and it tells when it was last sold, and it gives some. It gives some median data of the zip code, and then now kind of the answer. The average sold price of a single family home was $440,874.
Well, look at that, and only trending up.
It's not that great. It just says right here, I would estimate your house likely selling between 400 to 500. I'm like, okay.
So
Yeah,
look
not
at, but
that
look
good.
at, but
Why
look at
not
even
ask
the
it
trending
to
up
use-
of 1.8%. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things. Think about what you just asked it there. There's a lot of things there that, I mean, this is better than most agents.
Some general information about an area, boom, just gets it to you right away, right?
But can you ask it to use specific websites to make that conclusion or to come up with a conclusion?
I mean, this even returned a site location.
okay, I'll ask.
A
So
map
ask it to
location. I mean,
use
that's pretty
Redfin,
cool.
Zillow, and Realtor.
Can you use Zillow, Redfin,
And Realtor.com.
Realtor.com to value the property but in the property address?
yeah, I don't even think you need to again, but go
Yeah,
for
'cause
it.
it's
But
a
yeah,
lot.
it'll keep it in the thread.
Gotcha. All right, so I asked it if it can use those sites, and it's generating it's hold anything yet. It's searching on Redfin. It's searching on Zillow.
Wow.
It's searching on Realtor.com with that particular property address.
Sure.
And then it says, according to
I can use those
current,
websites. Wow.
So is it pulling up? It's pulling up value on each site. It doesn't really specifically say. It gave me 3 different answers, so it's probably the value of each site.
Is
One
that-
says 521, another one says 524, another one says 521, And then, so
So it
Yeah.
absolutely is crawling those sites and
Yep.
and ripping that
It
data and then
didn't- it didn't
repurposing
say,
it.
We say a value of X, like it's not
Yeah.
that specific.
No,
so,
but it's
Gotcha.
giving it.
all right, well, that's
it
good.
said,
We
will
could
you value it with those?
go down
That's
a rabbit
that's
hole,
pretty
so-
cool.
So maybe comping properties isn't the best use case for
Or
it
maybe you
at
have to
this
ask it a
time.
different question. I don't know.
Right, because between 400 and 500,000 is
Yeah, but
not
like, oh,
Well,
super
even how would you
accurate.
value this property? Right?
So-
It was saying sell.
While we're on the topic of selling properties,
Huh.
let's talk about the recent partnership between Zillow and Open Door.
Oh, I don't know much about it, so I'm gonna be all ears and a listener myself.
Okay, so I'll give us kind of a recap on the facts before we go into our opinions. So, fact is, back in August, when Open Door announced their Q2 earnings, they also announced at the same time that they were partnering with Zillow and that home sellers would be able to get an Open Door offer on Zillow's site. The partnership is 5 years long, and Zillow just announced yesterday that the partnership rolled out in 2 key markets. It rolled out in Atlanta and Raleigh. And what's interesting about these markets is Atlanta is the second top market for Open Door. It's kind of like their blue chip market. They do very well in
Yeah.
Atlanta. They have very high embedded margins in Atlanta. They have a lot of volume in Atlanta. They have a lot of operational capacity in Atlanta. They could easily absorb 3 to 4 times the amount of inventory and do very well in Atlanta. Now, the other interesting choice was Raleigh. And am I saying that correct, guys?
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
That's how I
because-
say it.
Raleigh.
So I think I was saying Raleigh. I said Raleigh before and got like heckled for it. But anyway,
Raleigh.
in Raleigh, that's Open Door's 15th market. So it's definitely not one of their top markets. Yeah, their embedded margins are lower. And it's interesting that they chose that market to go into
Yes.
as one of the top 2 markets. So we know that. We also know that if a home seller goes on to Zillow in one of those markets and submits for a cash offer, what's going to happen is they're going to answer a few questions on Zillow. Now, it's also interesting that in the description, Zillow shares with the home seller that this is a less hands-on, more digital experience
Huh.
to sell your home this way. As you kind of go through that process, answer a few questions, then it will kick you to Open Door's site, and you will then experience the Open Door kind of method of receiving those offers.
Yeah, the
So-
instant offer, all that. Yeah.
Another interesting key point is the kind of the how is this working? Well, Zillow is going to receive a referral fee for any of the properties that go through and are acquired by Open Door. In addition, and this is something that I thought was really interesting, we can unpack here in a moment, Zillow will also receive a warrant for Open Door equity at $15 a share. So I found that to be pretty interesting as well. You got to think when this partnership was negotiated, Open Door stock was probably valued a lot higher than it is now. It was released in August. I think Open Door stock in August was around $6, but maybe they were negotiating it a few months before that, where Open Door's stock price was probably higher. So I think the takeaway here is in order for this to be very successful for Zillow and for Open Door, they both need to do well with this partnership. So those are the facts. Now let's talk what we think.
What do you think, Jay?
What's a $15 share warrant? What does that mean?
So Zillow will receive the $15 per share warrant from Open Door as equity.
I'm not sure what that means. You know what that means?
It means that they're getting stock.
So they're getting they get one
stock
share if they
priced
sell?
at $15
How
a
many?
share.
I don't know. I don't know how many.
Yeah, they get stock priced at $15.
But
On-
it's $2.
That's my
is-
point.
that's-
So it's like
that's the
what
point.
a
That's the point why both of them need to do very well. Like Open Door needs to do really well. Zillow needs Open Door to do really well.
Yeah. So does that mean they can buy it at $15 a share, or they get a share like when
it's,
they?
it's part of the deal
one thing-
that happens like almost kind of like as their incentive to have homeowners
Yeah, there's
buy
definitely
houses.
a lot more question marks there. Like,
Yeah. So on the
Agreed.
Zillow earnings call, after they had talked about it, there weren't a lot of questions regarding the nitty gritty on how it's working. So
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
interesting.
Well, and as we know, the earnings call for Open Doors Q4 has not happened yet. So here's my 2 cents on this. I mean, first of all, everybody wants to look at these companies as websites about your house, home buying companies. We're forgetting one thing first, as they're data companies first, is what I'm when I'm wanting to share. And if they're looking at some of the consumer trends and projections, a lot of those types of things, I wonder if they see an angle or there's a trend or something that they see coming down the pike that we don't, right? Like I know for a fact from all of our members here at Zoodealio, cash offer requests are up. The desire for their clients to receive a cash offer is up. I'm not saying acceptances are wildly up or anything like that, but as far as the desire to get a cash offer is absolutely as high as I feel like as it's ever been.
Well, I would to specifically speak on, do they see stuff we don't? I'm just gonna say, based on results, hell no. Like they're doing this.
They just lost $1 billion.
Everything that everyone else is doing their best to project where the market might go, and maybe they're right, and maybe they're wrong.
Well, here's the thing. Open Door now probably doesn't have to spend a lot on
Advertising.
Facebook, Google. There's been less on advertising because Zillow has the eyeballs, and so if people are going onto Zillow, they click that button, what's my cash offer? They go to Open Door. They have a client, right? Somebody that's interested in getting that cash offer. So they're probably saving a lot of money. So that's probably why there's some sort of share or equity share with Zillow. I think if this is a successful partnership, one of either Zillow is going to buy Open Door, or Open Door is going to buy Zillow, or they just merge or come together.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. In regards to their markets, my guess would be, of course, why you would want to choose your hottest market, because that's a good way to
But
start
I guess
the relationship.
that would kill the Redfin partnership, and it would probably kill the Realtor.com partnership if that were to happen. So maybe they wouldn't. But Open Door they have their shit on lockdown with them. Now they have, you can get an offer from Open Door on Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com.
I know.
How crazy is
Those
that,
those are the most highest.
Yep. Dude,
traffic.
not only that, Open
websites.
Door.com itself gets a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So, you're right,
So
man.
agents have to, I don't understand how agents are like pissed
And that's
right now.
that. Okay, so for
How are
me,
they not pissed? Like they
that's the
basically,
biggest thing for me.
Open Door is a brokerage. They're
Yep.
there to sell properties, right?
And all these
so
places are now syndicating
now
with the MLS.
They'll sell off advertising to a single agent, but they're not going to
Yep.
partner with them, exclusively to get all their seller leads. So it's if I were an agent, I'd be like, man, I best have a good solution.
I best be able to have the same value proposition.
Yes.
Well, and it just comes back to the whole point of agents, buying leads, right? It's that I know Tom Ferry, we were just there at the Elite Retreat. He was talking about there were agents, they just want more leads when they need better conversion process and better, winning over the leads that you have, right? Like better
selling propositions.
Sure, but you also need better top of funnel strategies. And I think what Zillow learned when they exited iBuying is, oh my gosh, now we don't have any seller leads. Because sellers are not going through their platform to meet with one of their premier agents to find out what their house is worth. It probably wasn't happening.
Right.
And you talk about them being a data company. I am sure that they had data on seller lead flow, and it was probably the faucet off. And so Zillow's going, how do we reinvigorate our ecosystem? How do we get good seller leads to our agents? And the only way to do that is to have the cash offer hook.
Well, and we know that to be true. Why do you think Rich Barton, years ago went all in on the iBuyer movement? Clearly, we now know that the toothpaste came out of the bottle in a different way. But when he was forecasting, we're going to take our $2 billion in a year of revenue to a $20 billion year revenue, he's going to do it through iBuying. Right, there's the demand right there. That data speaks volumes for him. Rich Barton he's not just any CEO, right? I mean, this guy's a CEO of been a CEO of several different companies. Took many companies, Expedia, right? One of the Expedia co-founders, Glassdoor. Right. So what I'm getting at with this is a brilliant man, and for him to see the angles on this and to make that type of a statement, to me, that spoke volumes.
So one of the kind of question marks that we all had when we were thinking through what the Zillow Open Door partnership was going to look like, for me, I'm going, well, Opendoor has this exclusives platform. And if you've not been on the exclusives platform, you ought to check it out. It is
pretty cool.
Cool. There's just no other way to say it. It's cool. The digital experience is like unlike anything that I've experienced, right? And so they have the Opendoor exclusives, but they're only operating in three markets in Texas. And my thought is why would Zillow want to partner with Opendoor, give these sellers to Opendoor, and then have that property then resurface back on Opendoor exclusives and not back on Zillow, right? And so the interesting thing is as we can see now, the partnership with Zillow and Opendoor has only rolled out in 2 markets so far, and these markets are not a part of the exclusives platform.
Yeah, but this share thing makes it that's probably the difference though, because
makes it make sense
if they're able to gather Opendoor shares and Opendoor is moving properties to the exclusives, but Zillow's gaining shares and Opendoor had success, then Zillow's just
they both grow.
They're growing. They're growing their Opendoor
they're growing
shares
together.
And think about what a chess move this is by Zillow, in my opinion. Right, when agents continue to fund Zillow through buying leads, their flex programs, all the ways that they make money off of the realtor community,
they're now funding Opendoor,
and they're now funding Opendoor as well. Right, like I said, it's a big win for them. It's pretty dirty when you think about it, right? It's just like I'm looking at them like, dang.
I think what I was kind of curious to see when I went on and looked at the UI of how seller gets that Opendoor offer from Zillow, I was kind of interested to see how do they integrate the real estate agent, because we know that one of the key benefits to this is also see what your house is worth from a premier agent. And what I learned is that the premier agent offering isn't in addition to, or it is in addition to the cash offer. So you go down a funnel. You go down a funnel of exploring listing on the market, or you go down a funnel of taking a cash offer.
Yeah, it's a fork in the road, right?
Yes, exactly. So I think that what I love about what we do and how we're bringing cash offers to the consumer is we're giving the cash offers to the consumer alongside what the realtor can sell the home for on the open market. So if a seller is interested in taking a cash offer, they really have their eyes wide open and they can see, here's what I can list it on the market for. Here's what I can sell it for. Here's my cash offer. Maybe here's my cash offer with a flexible 12-month lease back. Maybe here's my offer to help you fix the home and list it. And you're giving the seller all of these offers and options in one place.
So what you're saying is that they go down a funnel. They're not, so this, if you're a premier agent and someone goes there and submits for a cash offer with Opendoor, that premier agent doesn't get a lead yet.
That's correct. It goes right into the Opendoor ecosystem. And so it's bypassing that premier agent. So initially I thought, okay, this is kind of cool for the premier agent, because I was thinking in my mind, premier agent's probably going to get the lead and they're probably going to present the Opendoor offer. But from what I could tell, when you go down the funnel, it is, hey, are you interested in listing? Are you interested in taking a cash offer?
Well, and let's think about Opendoor's play on this. They just got fined, I guess it's been 6 months ago, where they got fined, what was it,
$64 million?
Yeah, $60-something
like
million. Pretty
62.
Yeah, $62 million for telling the consumer that, hey, here's my cash offer, but this is also the same amount of what you're going to sell the house for, or
what you could if you were to list it.
Yeah. So they already are playing that hand is my point. And where with this, they are now benefiting. Zillow is going to benefit from Opendoor acquiring property. So there's now an incentive on that, right? And when you're looking at the angles of this whole piece of things, well, cash offers are coming back, so that's going to be drawing in more consumers. Agents are going to respond to that, and well, if there's a certain portion that gets bought by Opendoor, well, they're growing their company at that particular area, and then now we're able to grow because we're creating high quality seller leads. To me, it's a kingpin move for them. I mean, do I think it's a little slimy to the agent community based on what I'm seeing? Yeah, but
because the premier agent doesn't even have a shot until they actually are interested in actually listing the property.
Right.
So they're only interested in at the time to get a cash offer. It's not like that premier agent can give them a call and say, hey, let me show you what I can list it for compared to this Opendoor offer. They don't even get the offer. They don't even get the lead yet.
That's correct.
So there's another company that everybody knows out there that buys houses at scale, and they're in quite a few markets. Their company name starts with an O as well. And we work with a lot of those agents that used to work for that company, and they call them SEs, sales experts of their local community. And so what their process is when they do that is they will give them a cash offer. They'll look at their flex program, and then, possibly to do like the JV. But then if none of those work, they then have the sales experts calling them and attempting to convert them and list those houses. Open Door has a very similar process as well. Right?
Actually, no, Open Door does not try to get the seller to list on the open market.
I thought they started that where they were listing the house.
So we met with an Open Door rep several weeks ago.
That's right. They're not doing it anymore.
Right. Actually, so kind of interesting, and this is something new with Open Door. So it used to be in the past that if you were an agent and you wanted to get your seller a cash offer from Open Door, you could submit the property on their behalf. And so long as that seller hadn't been in the Open Door ecosystem already, then they would allow you to represent that seller, and then they would pay you a 1% referral fee. Now there's a little change that's happening with their policy, and they're saying that they're changing it because of this Open Door partnership. They know that a lot of sellers are going to get that Open Door offer maybe before they even connect with their local real estate expert. And so what Open Door is doing is Open Door is shifting their policy, and they're saying, hey, if you bring us as a real estate agent, if you bring us a home seller and that home seller is already in our ecosystem, we will still allow you to represent that home seller, and we will still pay you a referral fee, but instead of 1%, it's only 0.75. Did I leave anything out on that, guys?
Yeah, so they're giving you more of a haircut.
Does that sound like a good synopsis?
I think that sounds about right to me. But
I wasn't a part of that.
So. If you're out there, hunting for the cash offers, and that allows you to still be a part of it, I think that's still a win for an agent, right? Because right now, the way that it exists is, nope, there's already an offer and there's nothing you can do, and you're like, crap.
Well, and something else that I thought was interesting when I looked at the UI of the property that I pulled up in Raleigh, it was a property that was worth $460,000. That's what the Zestimate said.
Okay.
When the number came to list with the agent, it was roughly around that 460 mark. I can't remember. It wasn't exactly the Zestimate, but it was close. The Open Door offer was like $330,000.
Oh my gosh! Really?
That's
massive.
It was a massive difference. So, well, the reason I want to talk about this is because agents are so concerned about giving a cash offer to a home seller that's low because they think it's bad. They think it's a negative brand equity experience.
Yes.
But here we have Zillow, who says, no, it's not a negative brand equity experience. We're going to show you what that cash offer is. Hey, it might be low right now. 6 months from now, it could be higher.
Right.
A year from now, it could be lower. A year and a half from now, it could be higher. And so I think
based
that
on trends.
What it's all about is showing them their cash offer value. What's your easy exit? What can you get today if you want to sell your house, as they put it on their site, with a less hands-on, more digital experience?
Well, there was something that you said there that just re-struck a nerve with me that prior to, and I'm certainly not going to steal your thunder, but share with us the, like brokers, how they train agents to go to listing appointments.
Oh, so yeah, I'm surprised you didn't just go for it, but
no, I would never do that.
Never. Okay.
No, I'd never.
So we in real estate, as a real estate agent, get your real estate license, you hang your license with a broker, you go to your training, and your training teaches you to go on listing appointments. Go on as many listing appointments as you can because, hey, you're going to need to go on 2 listing appointments to get 1 listing and, blah, blah, blah. And they reverse engineer how many listing appointments you need to go on to hit your goals. Well, it's no longer about going on listing appointments. It is about going on selling appointments. And when you arrive at the home seller's home, you need to be prepared to have your cash offers and your options and give the seller options in order to sell their home versus only giving them the option to list their home on the open market.
Otherwise, what are they going to do? They're going to go out there and go find those other options. If you only bring that option of listing the property, they want to see all the options. So if you're not bringing it to them, they will go out and find it.
So I think
I got to be honest on that. Like sometimes things come across and it's just being able to be like simplistic. That's freaking genius. It really is. Like being able to just simplify what you said. So it's a mindset shift, not only in the agent community, but in the home seller community, right? Like, hey, I'm not here to list your house. I'm here to give you home selling options. I mean, how freaking powerful is that? Like to me, like that's honestly one of the coolest things. Just little spinning nuances of words, even for myself, being in this space for, I don't even know, a long time. And that's like a mindset shift. As soon as I hear that, I'm like, wow.
Well, I think it really just rings true because we all know, we've been in the real estate ecosystem for so long. We know that agents are trained to go on listing appointments. It's not about a listing appointment. It's about selling appointment in today's day and age.
Genius.
And I also think too, like sellers, they don't want to list their home. They want to sell their home.
That's right. That's right.
And to add on that, you also brought up, which I think is really just caveats right on what we're talking about, is with agents just going on all these listing appointments, they're in the mindset that, oh, well, the seller's only going to want to list because the only thing that's important to them is getting the highest price possible. And that's not always true.
Nope.
It makes me think, Keith, again, when we used to run the HSA, the Home Sellers Advantage Department back in the day, where we were going on booking multiple listing appointments, I actually used to train them and all the dialers at the time. I'm like, look, what does the seller want? They don't want to list their house. They want to sell their house. So if we can reverse engineer this and we speak to the selling process of things, I think maybe that's why I resonate with it so much, and is just that simple word shift in that. And when I just think it aligns with what today's consumer is looking for. And Amazon, let's face it, right? What is it? The number 1, 2 biggest company in the world. Its market influence is the outside Alibaba is basically the biggest in the world. And so what I'm getting at is it's dominating consumers' mind share. And when we can provide that same type of experience, and here's the menu of options, and you can either go through this process, which is a little bit, more tedious, and yes, you'll potentially bring in more money, or hey, certainty and convenience has a little bit of a price. I choose that. Pretty cool.
Yes, it is cool if you are tooled up and armed with the capacity to bring forth home selling options and
Yes.
offers to your client.
I remember Brad Inman saying a couple of years ago how the shift right now is a shift from being a real estate agent to being a real estate advisor.
Good.
This is, real estate agents are taught to list properties. Real estate advisors are taught to sell properties. And that's the difference.
I like it.
It is no longer a one-size-fits-all approach when you're selling real estate. There's so many different ways to accomplish this, and it's actually really fun. And I think that if you are listening and you're thinking, hey, how can I implement these cash offers and these selling solutions into my business, you gotta book a demo on Zoodealio.com. Just book a demo, and we would love to show you what we're all about and how we can help you grow your business.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and throw a comment in there every once in a while.
Yeah, we
We
need
might
that
answer it.
to help circulate the show.
All right, bye.